Hi, I'm Charles Dahlquist, Council President for the Great Salt Lake Council. This is Elder Pat Price, who is the Chairman of the LDS Relationships Committee. You know, Elder Price, over the years, I have found that one of the most important parts of that which we do as leaders is to be trained and to make sure all of our leaders are trained.
Indeed.
And, you know, I've been in a lot of training over the years for Aaronic priesthood, but the scouting training that I've received as a result of the Boy Scouts of America training program have really helped me to be a better priesthood leader, a better mission president, and in all of the responsibilities I've had.
A better leader.
It is. And we know that it takes time, because when we talk about training, we talk about first leader protection training, which is now mandatory.
Right.
And the second is the basic training, which includes the online training, the fast start training, the leader-specific training, and then wood badge. And I've been to a lot of training, and sometimes we think wood badge is just extras, just an additional advanced training that's optional, but for me, it was a life-changing experience, and I know that you're planning to go to wood badge. In fact, this is a big year for you.
It is a big year. That's
in
right.
fact, I think
Philmont and wood badge. It's a good year.
It is a good year. In fact, Elder Price just leaves in just a couple of days to go down to Philmont, which is a wonderful experience. If you're a stake president or a member of a stake presidency, we encourage you to go to Philmont. I know when I was a brand new stake president, I took both my counselors and we went down. We had a brand new stake. We were starting new traditions. We took our families down, and you know, our families still say that's the very best vacation
ever.
Yeah, and they had such a wonderful experience. The kids went out into the back country. They had a great experience. They were away from iPhones. They were away from all of the other stuff. We didn't have iPhones then, but the training that I got and the opportunity to rub shoulders with other priesthood leaders and their families was absolutely wonderful.
Exciting. So we're excited.
That's great. Well, and you know, Elder Price really sets the pattern, and that is we don't ask you to do anything that we haven't already done. And that is, I've been through all of the training and have been to wood badge. Actually, I've been to some additional Old Explorer training because it makes a difference. And so we encourage you on behalf of the council presidency, the council key three, and Elder Price to set the pace, to become trained yourself, and then make sure that it goes down right to the end of the road, and make sure that all leaders are appropriately trained. And I suppose, Elder Price, that starts with the calling, doesn't it? At the time of the calling, when they're challenged.
The expectation should be set.
That's exactly right. And so if in your training, your bishops, if you could take time to make sure that that when they call a scoutmaster or a teacher's quorum advisor, or all of those who are working with the youth, if they are appropriately called, oriented, committed, and trained, so that they know what the expectation is, as Elder Price has said, and that they can then follow through to become trained. And I suppose the next part of training is to leave them there long enough to to be able to do what they've been called to do, to have tenure. And
that's right.
We've jokingly said that you spelled tenure T-E-N-Y-E-A-R. Now we know that most are not going to stay in there for 10 years, but they can stay long enough to be able to make a difference. When I was with President Monson several years ago, he said, "I don't understand how we expect leaders to make a difference when they're not left in long enough, and when they're changed every few months." And so we know how calls are made in the church, but we encourage you to make the service and the callings and the training and the tenure of these young men leaders a significant issue, and to be able to focus on that. We also appreciate all that you've done to become trained. We've been impressed as we've seen so many stake presidency members go to Philmont.
Yes.
And also to go to wood badge and to become trained there. So
show up at roundtable.
Show up at roundtable. That's exactly right. And when you show up, it actually makes a better roundtable.
It does.
Sister Sidney Reynolds once said, "If you've been to a boring roundtable, go again." And I thought, you know, there's one more step, and that is, if you've been to a boring roundtable, go again, and if it's still boring, then offer to help. I just think of the wonderful resources that we have, and particularly when members of stake presidencies get involved in their high council and their stake young men's presidencies, we strengthen the entire program, and we have a profound effect on the lives of the boys.
The enthusiasm level rises.
It really does. And there's nobody who is more supportive than Elder Price of this great program. So Elder Price, thank you very much for setting the path.
Thanks for your leadership, Charles.
Thanks, folks, for all that you do. May the Lord bless you. Just know that every day you're in our prayers, you and the youth that you serve. So thank you very much for your service.